You have asked for it, we listened, and we delivered. Super signals for MotiveWave finally available. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Sinek. I'll be your host, and welcome to Trading Tech Talk. I am broadcasting out of beautiful Montreal. It's a snowy day here in Montreal, downtown Montreal, out of our trading indicators office. It is snowing. It is just beautiful. And I hope every one of you is comfortably seated and ready to for these super signals for MotiveWave. Before we get started, a quick reminder that trading bears its risk and is not suited for everyone. Keep in mind that when you trade, only use risk capital, which is defined as should you lose this risk capital, it will not affect your lifestyle. When it comes to hypothetical performance or backtest results, keep in mind that this is not necessarily indicative of future performance. All right, so now that we have this out of the way, let me introduce myself. As mentioned, my name is Daniel Sinek, and I am a managing partner at tradingindicators.com. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, tradingindicators.com is an online store for innovative trading products. We offer indicators, automated strategies, dashboards, standalone tools to help you with your trading and to help you make better trading decisions. We have clients all over the world, primarily in North America, but also in Europe, Australia, Asia, South America, even Africa. More than thousands of clients around the world use our products. We work together with trading educators, with brokerage firms, with introducing brokers. And our mission is the same. We want to help clients, retail traders, to make better trading decisions and to become successful traders. Now, I am joined today with my colleague, also managing partner, Homa. Homa will be managing the chat. Hi, Homa. And also Nicholas. Nicholas will be giving the demo later on. And these are our key players in our team at Trading Indicators, but we also have on board mathematicians, professional traders. We work together with designers, UX experts. And our mission is to really provide intelligent trading tools, such as indicators, to help you make better trading decisions. And with everything we do, we always try to give it an edge, to do it a bit differently from what you perhaps know what's out there, and so to be as innovative as possible. All right, so let's review quickly of what has happened at Trading Indicators. Well, as you know, we have these tech talks every second week. Should you miss a tech talk, don't worry. They are all recorded, this one as well. And they will be posted afterwards on our YouTube channel. You can find our channel quite easily. Simply go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com. And in the top right corner, you'll see a little YouTube icon. Click on it, and this will bring you directly to our YouTube channel. And there you can see all these Tech Talk recordings, but also other recordings about our indicators. When we participate in live events or big trading events, we'll post the videos there. We have tutorial videos on our YouTube channel and also partner videos. So I invite you to take a look. And if you want to be notified whenever something new is uploaded, make sure to subscribe. All right, so what is new at tradingindicators.com since the last time? Well, we have published a couple of days ago, I think 3 days ago, a new version of the Super Signals indicator for NinjaTrader. And we have integrated a key improvement. It now allows for real-time scanning for trading signals. So this is a big improvement for the NinjaTrader version. The good news is that this improvement is already integrated for the MotiveWave version, which we will be covering today. We also closed a partnership agreement with an exciting new firm called the Trading Pit. You can see it here. The Trading Pit is relatively new, but has quickly become a leading prop trading firm for trading FX and futures. And I'm mentioning this because the next Trading Tech Talk will be on the trading pit, and it will be on the topic of what is prop trading. I'm sure most of you have heard about it. It's all over the place. It's hyped up. We will be covering what is prop trading all about. What should you keep in mind when signing up for a prop trading account? How are prop trading firms managed internally? We even have a guest speaker from the trading pit with us and doing the next Tech Talk. If you want to take a quick or a preview of what the trading pit is all about, simply go to tradingindicators.com/pit, which will get you bring you to the homepage of this prop trading firm. All right, so this is why I'm mentioning it here. And the next Tech Talk will be on this topic, and where we will be introducing prop trading. Okay, so, but now to the topic at hand of this week's Tech Talk, super signals for MotiveWave. If you are following us, you may already know that we have these super signals already available for the TradingView platform. We also have it available for NinjaTrader. And now, finally, it has become also available for MotiveWave. Before I will give you a demo of how this indicator looks like, let's cover some basics. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to talk about Confluence. What does this mean? What role does it play in trading? I'm going to then talk about, okay, how do we use Confluence to define super signals, or our version of super signals? We're going to have a big demo of the super signals. Also cover some advanced features, such as how to create your own super signal in addition to what is predefined, and how to scan for super signals. All right. And then finally, I'm going to show you how you can get your hand on the super signals indicator for any of these platforms, and in particular for MotiveWave. Okay, so super signals are based on a concept which is called Confluence. It's an overloaded term. It has multiple meanings. And in trading, it can also mean convergence or alignment. Still, perhaps not very clear what that means. So let me give you or show you some definition that you can find out there. So Investopia defines it as multiple strategies are combined into one complete one. All right, perhaps makes it a bit clearer. Forexpedia defines it as several technical analysis methods give the same trade signal. All right, I can follow this. That makes somewhat sense. Or Binance Academy says multiple investment methods, technical indicators, or trading signals are combined to form a more reliable strategy. All right, so I definitely see bits and pieces of these definitions. I like them. They make sense to me. But here's the definition that I think fits best for what Confluence really is. So Confluence to me is really just a fancy word for when the stars align. All right, so what does that mean? So it's a proverb, the stars align. That means multiple things are coming together, they're lining up. So to me also, this is an intonation of this is fairly rare. It doesn't happen very often. But when it happens, good things hopefully will happen. When it comes to trading, we could rephrase this as multiple indicators line up and forecast the same move. All right, so let's keep this definition for now as our base definition of super signals. Okay, so but let me move on. So Confluence. So how does this look in particular in trading? Let's check out this chart. So we have a chart here, and this example is from babypips.com, and we have a chart here, Euro USD on the 1 hour. And there are multiple things applied to the chart. So what can we see here? We can see a stochastics indicator down here. We see price action. Of course, like every chart has price action, and we can, we see the price action here. We have a moving average up here, which seems to be perhaps the 200 SMA. Yeah. We have another moving average here, the red line. We have some Fibonacci levels, which measure the retracement after this down move. Retracement is always a move in the opposite direction. So you had a big move, And then price since then has retraced into the opposite direction. So many things can be observed on this chart. But how does Confluence play a role? Well, let's have a look. So first of all, we also have a trend line. I forgot about this. This black line here is a trend line. Trend lines are typically drawn by connecting tops when it's a down, like a descending trend line, or by connecting buttons if it's a trend line which is ascending. So we have that too. So we have this trend line here. We have, the 200 SMA, which acts as a natural level of resistance. As the 200 SMA is used, it's a classic. Almost every trader uses it in some way or another because it acts as resistance. As price approaches the 200 SMA, oftentimes it will either bounce off it. That means it will retrace from it, and because there's resistance, or it will power through it. And once it's powered through, the uptrend will continue. But before this happens, a retracement is more likely. All right, so we have this 200 SMA. We have the 61.8% FIB level. So a FIB level denotes a healthy retracement. All right, so what is a healthy retracement? A healthy retracement is a retracement which eventually will continue in the direction of the overarching trend. So in this case, we can easily see that we have a downtrend here. So our trend line is descending, price action is going down, it's easy to see. So if we have a healthy retracement, we expect that price will continue the downwards move after a certain level of retracement. And oftentimes 61.8%, it's a Fibonacci number, will denote this level. All right, so here we went down. Price has been retracing towards 61.8%. This is this area here, the shaded area. And if it's a healthy retracement, price will then continue to move downwards after this retracement. All right. We have also the stochastic, this is a typo, showing an overbought level. Typically at 75, it's an overbought level. So we're overbought. So multiple things are coming together, and they all forecast the same thing. What is it? What are they forecasting? Well, they are forecasting a price will continue moving downwards. So you can see by this big arrow. And they're all telling us the same story, the same outcome. We have a falling trend. Our trend line is going down. We're nearing the 61.8 FIB level. We have a 200 SMA above us acting as resistance. We are overbought. All these things are coming together and are forecasting the same thing. And this is what we call confluence. Multiple indicators forecasting the same price move. In this case, it's a downwards facing price move. Okay, so, but we also have to be careful because there's also something called bad confluence. Okay, there's good confluence and bad confluence. What's the difference? Well, I believe that not every confluence is actually beneficial for forecasting future price moves. And bad confluence happens if highly correlated indicators line up. Why is this bad? Because if indicators are correlated, they're based on the same underlying principle, perhaps the same mathematical calculation, the same logic, they're forecasting the same thing. That means when multiple indicators saying the same thing, well, in fact, they're kind of based on the same thing. So we could have just used one, for example, and sometimes adding more indicators which are highly correlated to the mix may end up that you're too late to the game because you're waiting until they all line up. And when they finally line up, well, price has already moved so far in the direction that we wanted to move that we're too late. And perhaps a correction is more likely rather than price following into the same direction. All right, so let me give you an example of bad confluence. Here we have a chart. And what's on this chart? Well, we can see all these plots, these lines on it. And these lines are moving averages. They only have different periods. But they're all moving average. They're all based on the same mathematical foundation, the averaging up price. That's all they do. So based on the same thing. Now, if we wait, for example, if all these MAs are lining up, for example, if they're all ordered, they are stacked, meaning that the fastest MA is above the second fastest, is above the medium MA, above the slowest MA. If they're all ordered and price action is above all these MAs, so everything is lining up, well, typically, oftentimes what happens is that, well, the exact opposite will happen. So technically, all these things here telling us, well, price will continue to move further up. But we've been waiting until this happens. And we're so late now that a pullback is more likely than the continuation. And we can see this here. So exactly the same thing happened. Price actually moved down. We call this an overextended run pattern. We're waiting until things line up and we're too late. And then trading, timing is really everything. You don't want to be too late. You don't want to chase a move. You want to be proactive. And this can only be achieved if complementary indicators are confluent, not the same ones. Because if the same indicators are very similar indicators are lining up and you're waiting, you might be too late to the game. And you miss the price move. All right. So, in fact, this phenomena, we call this the overextended run pattern, because price has moved already so far in the upwards direction in this case that a pullback is more imminent than the continuation. And in fact, this pattern was forecasted by our trend radar indicator, which you can see down here, which has been designed to identify exactly these kind of patterns. All right. So this is the the trend radar indicator. If you're interested in how it works, check out our product on our homepage, tradingindicators.com, or look at our YouTube channel for some videos on how the trend radar indicator works. All right, so this is bad confluence. Not all confluence is good. There's bad confluence. Now, let me take this into account and revise our definition of what good confluence is. So, good confluence is a fancy word for when the good stars align. Okay, not very meaningful for trading, but perhaps this one: multiple complementary indicators line up and forecast the same thing. That's very important. They must be complementary. They must be based on different things, on different logic, on a different foundation. And if this happens, if these are lining up, then we truly have confluence. And hopefully the signal which results from that will be more accurate than just basing our signal on a single indicator. All right. So let me move on. This was confluence in theory, but how does this look in particular? All right, so let's look at how we define our super signals. So our super signals, you may have guessed it already. Well, they are based on 3 different indicators, which we have also developed, and maybe some of you can guess it. Oh, by the way, before you start guessing, if you have questions, feel free to write them into the Q&A section of Zoom. Homer and Niklas, they will be manning the chat, and they will happy to address them. Or if Homer feels there's a need, she will also interrupt me, and I will address it right on the during my slides. So Homer, are there any questions at this point, or should I just power or continue?
Let me see, just give me 1 second. So yeah, there is a question. Which MotiveWave version should you use for the power signals?
Oh, that's just a great question. Actually, it's a bit of a detour. So MotiveWave, okay, small detour. So we're gonna take a 2-minute break from the super signals. This is more like a technical question about MotiveWave. Now, MotiveWave comes in different editions. There's, I believe, even a free one. There's a basic version. There is a pro version. There's an ultimate version, and perhaps some other ones. Which one do I recommend? Well, I recommend the pro version, and here's why. Because there are 2 things which are really important for my trading in that version. First of all, I want to be able to be alerted when a signal comes up. So I want to be able to define my own alerts. This is only possible in the pro version or above. And these alerts are called study alerts. So MotiveWave has some built-in alerts which are triggered when some built-in events are happening. For example, a trade is filled or a trade is closed out. You can be alerted for this in any version. But what I'm interested in, I want to be alerted when I study, like an indicator gives me a signal. And MotiveWave calls these study alerts. And these are only available in the pro version of MotiveWave. So that's very important for me. And there's a second feature which I find very important for my own trading, which is the indicator on indicator feature. Many platforms have it. For example, I'll give you an example. Maybe I want to see a moving average, an MA, an SMA of, let's say, a MACD. Okay, I can either custom code this, which is tedious, or I can combine two different indicators together in MotiveWave. And this is possible with the indicator on indicator feature. For example, I can apply an SMA onto a MACD indicator. So typically an SMA is applied to the price chart, to the close price of the chart. But this doesn't have to be like this. It can also be applied on the output of other indicators. So for me, this is a very important feature. And because I can create my own custom indicators like this, just combining several indicators into just one. And it is also a precondition for our strategy builder for MotiveWave. If you're not familiar with this, it's an add-on that we've created for MotiveWave, which will allow you to create your own automated strategies. All right. Any other questions, Homer?
No, I think we're good for now.
Okay, great. Okay, so that was a quick detour. Now back to the super signal. So guess which indicators we used to create our super signals. Well, if you are familiar with our product offering, you may have guessed it. Well, they are our power bundle indicators. Now, what if you don't know them? Let me give you a quick intro on them. So the Power Bundle 360 indicators, it's a bundle consisting of 3 indicators in particular. We have 1, 2, 3 strike for trend trading. We have Divergence Cloud for identifying pullbacks and reversals. And we have Volatility Crusher for trading breakouts and finding breakouts. And just by looking at what they do at this little summary here, I think it is quite evident that these are complementary because they're actually looking for different things. 1, 2, 3 strike looks for trend entries. Divergence Cloud looks for reversals or pullbacks, and Volatility Crusher for breakouts. So they're really looking for very different things. So that by itself is some evidence that these are actually complementary. But let me explain you a little bit how these indicators work. We have picked or developed these 3 indicators because we believe they cover each of the 3 main market cycles: trend trading, trends reversing, and breaking out of a sideways consolidation. So by looking at all these 3 different market conditions, I believe you've covered most of the market conditions out there. I'll give you a full round trip. Now, 1, 2, 3 strike, just to give you a bit more detail, it's our trend indicator, and it will give you a signal when 3 things come together, confirming a strong trend. And these 3 things are: we must have directionality, so price must have been moving in the direction of the trend for quite some time. That's what trend entries is all about. No, we're already in a trend. We can see price has moved in the direction of the trend for quite some time. It's a blessing and a curse for trend trading, because a blessing is, while the trend is your friend, once we're in a trend, chances are the price will continue in the direction of the trend. And the probabilities are higher that this will happen than a reversal. That's just a matter of fact. All right, so that's the blessing. The curse is that, well, once we're in a trend, pullbacks and retracements are very likely as well, especially after an overextended run. So you obviously have to keep this in mind. So with 1, 2, 3 strike, we try to mitigate this curse, in quotes, curse a little bit, by looking not just at directionality. The price has moved in the direction of the trend for quite some time, but we're also looking for an increase in volatility and an increase of volume. And by looking at these 3 dimensions, the idea is that when these come together, price will actually continue in the direction of the trend instead of retracing. So this is 1, 2, 3 strike. Now, Divergence Cloud. which is our reversal / pullback indicator, an indicator to forecast reversals or imminent pullbacks. Now, how is this happening? Well, we've tried something in our lab a couple of years ago. We ran a big research study, and we determined that there's a form of divergence which is, first of all, very rarely used, but is very telling of what will happen in the future. We call this form of divergence volatility divergence. If you don't know what divergence is in general, it's a discrepancy. It's a disagreement. In this case, it's a disagreement of price move and an underlying indicator. So typically, when you look at divergence, you compare price move with an RSI, or price move with stochastics, or the MACD. This is the classic form of divergence. Very rarely, however, will you compare price move with volatility. And we have found out that if price is going up, yet volatility is going down, chances are that this is a bullish divergence, and chances are that price will continue moving up because we're bullish divergent. Or vice versa, price start to move down and volatility is picking up, that's a bearish divergence, indicating that price will continue moving further down. All right, so this is our divergence indicator. And finally, we have volatility crusher, our indicator for identifying strong breakouts. And we define a strong breakout as a breakout where price will continue to move in the direction of the breakout after the breakout has occurred. And if this is the case, it is quite evident that you as a trader can take advantage of this. And you can find the breakout, then simply enter in the direction of the breakout in the hope that price will continue the move. And this is what volatility crusher is all about. Wow. So these are our three indicators and their basic principles. I should also mention quickly that each of these indicators, they will give you clear entry signals, but also exit signals. So they should tell you when to get in, but also when to get out. Most indicators out there in the world, they will only tell you when to get in. Then you're left to your devices. Our indicators, they will also tell you when to get out, because getting in is only really 50% of the trade. Once you're in a trade, it needs to be managed. This is why our indicators will tell you when to get out. Now, also our indicators, they run on any time frame. They're suitable for every asset class and for any trading style. So whether you are a day trader, a scalper, an investor, a swing trader, you can use these indicators because they will work on every time frame. We have also equipped all three indicators with what we call real-time statistics, which will tell you directly on the chart how well the indicator is working. And it is so important because not every indicator works in every chart or time frame. That's a matter of fact. And our indicators are no exception to this. It's just a law of nature. There's no way around it. Sometimes they work, or often they work, but sometimes they will not. But it is important that you have some way of telling whether they are currently working or not. Typically, this is up for guesswork. You guess, you look at some signals, and you make a guesstimate. Well, our indicators are giving you hard facts by means of statistics plotted directly on the chart. And in their latest generation, we have also included auto optimization to all our indicators, which will find the best parameters for you. Every indicator, the RSI, the MACD, stochastic, NMA, they all come with parameters. But how do we know which parameters to use? What's the best setting? Again, typically up for guesswork. Well, we have built in an auto optimization feature, which will find the best settings for you automatically, so you don't have to fiddle around with them. Okay, so this was a quick, again, detour of what our underlying indicators are for our super signals. So let's talk about super signals. Finally, I know I'm long-winded sometimes, but I thought it was important to reiterate what is the basis for all this and why does it work. Okay, so finally, super signals. And as you may guess, our version of super signals combines signals from 1-2-3 strike, from divergence cloud, and from volatility crusher. And if they align in some way, what these different combinations can be, I will say in a second, then we have a super signal. You may say, well, they can combine in different ways. Which combination should we look for? Good question, great question. We have actually defined different levels of super signals. And we ordered them by the degree of how often they occur or how rare they are. So let's start with bronze. A bronze signal occurs if at least 2 of our 3 indicators are currently long or currently short. They have a trade open in the same direction. And the third indicator does not contradict it. All right, so keep in mind that all our indicators, they give you an entry signal, but also an exit signal. So once you have an entry signal, let's say a long entry signal, you consider it long, and the indicator considers you to be in a long position up until the exit occurs. The position is closed out. And every indicator can be either positioned long or short or flat. So for bronze, we require that at least 2 out of our 3 indicators are positioned long or positioned short, and the third indicator does not contradict the position, meaning that the third indicator doesn't have a position open in the opposite direction. So that's bronze. Silver, this is a special one because it's a bit different from all the other 3 ones. Actually requires that 1, 2, 3 strike and divergence cloud are positioned differently. One of them is positioned long, the other one must be positioned short. Wow, they're contradicting. But then volatility crusher comes in as a tiebreaker. Whenever volatility crusher has a signal, either long or short, this will be the silver signal because it acts as a tiebreaker to a phase of indecision. And we define indecision as, well, 2 indicators are not agreeing with each other. All right, so this is silver. Gold requires that 2 of the 3 indicators have an entry signal at the same bar. This is quite different from bronze, because in bronze, we don't require the entry of the 2 indicators to happen on the same bar. You know, one indicator could have entered 5 days ago, and the other one could have entered now. As long as the trade is still open, we have a bronze signal. For gold, we require that the signals are actually happening, the entry signals on the same bar for 2 out of the 3 indicators. And for platinum, we require that the entry signal happens, that all 3 indicators have an entry signal in the same direction on the same bar. It's super rare, but it does occur. And when it occurs, it is quite powerful. All right, so just a few charts to back this up. So, and I won't be long-winded. Bronze signals. 2 out of our 3 indicators are positioned long, and the third one doesn't contradict it. And on the chart, it will look like this. We have these little bronze entry arrows here along the way, meaning that 2 indicators need to be positioned long, and the other one doesn't contradict it. All right, and we have this, of course, in the long version and the short version. Silver, 1 to 3 strike and divergence cloud must contradict each other. Volatility crusher is the tiebreaker. This may seem a bit odd just by looking at things. 2 indicators are contradicting each other. It doesn't seem very convincing. That seems to be like indecision. Well, true, there is indecision. But then we want volatility crusher to be the tiebreaker. And why does it work? Because volatility crusher is our breakout indicator. It looks for a breakout out of a phase of indecision. And that works. We've researched this. So 2 indicators are not agreeing. We have a breakout, basically where the indecision is over and we have made a decisive price move. And on the chart, these signals look like this. Silver entry signals either to the upside or the downside. Gold. For gold, we require that all 3 indicators, so that 2 out of 3 indicators have an entry signal in the same direction on the same bar. It's quite rare. So it doesn't happen very often, but again, if it happens or when it happens, the move can be quite convincing. And on the chart, you can see this as these golden triangles, either to the upside, but you can also find them for the downside. And finally, platinum, the most rare signal that we have, now super signals. And it is triggered when all three indicators have the same entry signal, in this case, a short entry signal on the same bar. This is really when the stars align. Like, three indicators, they're quite selective by default, and they are having a signal, an entry signal on the same bar. Yeah, this doesn't really happen very often, but again, when it happens, good things tend to happen afterwards. So this is our platinum signal.
Daniel, I have a bunch of questions here.
Yes.
I know that Nicola's also ready for a demo. So I
Okay.
wanted to know, is it a good time for these questions or?
It is a good time, yeah.
Okay. So Sam wants to know if the super signals work with the strategy builder.
Yes. Easy answer. Yes.
Great. Mateus wants to know, do you use real-time data or historical data, delayed data for scans?
Oh, that depends on your data provider. So if you have a data subscription which gives you real-time data, which is not delayed by 10 minutes, then the scan will use that. Otherwise, it will be delayed. Depends on your data provider, what subscription you have. So in my case, I use IQ Feed to power my MotiveWave platform. And for some symbols, for my futures, I have real-time data. For stocks, because I didn't subscribe to it, I get delayed data. So it really depends on your data subscription.
Okay, and Frank wants to know, and I don't know if this is more a question for Nicola after for the demo, but he wants to know if we can showcase how study alerts are applied, as well as the stacked indicators. I think this was when you were talking about the different versions of MotiveWave.
Yes, absolutely. We can probably brush onto that towards the end of today's session.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay, great. Okay, so before we start with the demo, I just want to reiterate that I really believe that our three indicators, they're complementary and therefore suited for good Confluence, because they really are based on very different principles. They're looking for different things. So one looks for divergence, the other one looks for breakouts, and one looks for trend entries. So if they all conclude to the same thing, or at least two out of three conclude the same thing, I believe that we have compounded likelihood that the forecasted move will actually be that move. Okay, and one last thing, and this is something I cannot stress enough. So all three indicators, they come with an auto optimization function, meaning they find the best parameters for you. And this, in my opinion, makes the super signals even more powerful, because we are using optimized versions of all three indicators. And if they are confluent, like the optimized versions of them, then we have a truly optimized super signal, which, in my opinion, makes it even more likely that the forecast move will happen. So, okay, so shall we look at some charts? Nicola, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay, so this is MotiveWave, the platform we're talking about today. And once you get the super signals indicator, the way to access it is you're going to come up into this study menu. And after you've installed it, so to install it, you open up all studies, study all studies, and click import. And after you click import, you'll select the file that you got as a download after your purchase, and it'll be accessible in MotiveWave. So to access it, you click study up here and come down to trading indicators. And the indicator is called Super Signals AO. So here is the settings window for Super Signals. And I'm just going to apply it to the chart right away so we can get a look of what the indicator looks like. So you can see here, these tiny little signals right here are the bronze signals that Daniel was talking about. These are the most common. So these are bronze long signals. We see there are lots of them. And we've got this panel down here in the right. And what this panel is showing you is basically just the 5 most recent super signals. So we had a bronze long at 192.64, 52 bars ago. So that's this signal right here. So this panel shows the most recent signals, but you can also come up into your quick settings in the top left, click this little gear, and then uncheck minimize IET panel. So we're going to unminimize it. And when we do that, we see these statistics for all 3 of the indicators that form these super signals: 1, 2, 3 strike, divergence cloud, and volatility crusher. And we see here how well they're doing. What is their win rate, trade win rate? What percentage of exits are profitable from these indicators? Right here in the form of their efficiency. So 1, 2, 3 strike has 80%, about 79% long efficiency. These are divergence cloud stats, and these are volatility crushers. And because these are auto-optimized indicators, they're automatically using the best settings. It's telling us here what mode we use to optimize that indicator. So for 1, 2, 3 strike, we used simplified optimization. And what that means is that it only tested a few hundred or a couple hundred different configurations of settings to find which one works best for that indicator. In this case, 1, 2, 3 strike tested 288 different possibilities. Divergence cloud 180, volatility crusher 144. And we can change these settings, like the optimization mode, up here in the quick settings. So if I wanted to instead do a little bit heavier optimization on 1, 2, 3 strike, I can change the mode and click this button down here. We have a button, Optimize All. This will re-optimize all 3 indicators with the changes you've made, or you can click an individual one, Optimize 1, 2, 3 strike, DC, divergence cloud, or VC, volatility crusher. So in this case, I'm going to make the 1, 2, 3 optimization exhaustive, and I'll click Optimize 1, 2, 3. And if we look in the bottom right, we now see that little auto-optimizing loading box. It's telling us it's working on it. And the exhaustive mode is the heaviest, so it takes a while. And we see what happens is, look, our efficiency actually jumped up because it found a better setting. It tested 7,000 configurations, and it found one with these extremely high win rates. And you could see on our chart that now we have a gold signal. We didn't have that before because 1, 2, 3 strike changed. And the super signals are based on confluence between the indicators. So if one of the indicator settings changes, the super signals are going to change. And we also have the option with the super signals AO premium indicator here to show the underlying indicators. So I can unhide 1, 2, 3 strike, make it visible. Now we can see that indicator on the chart. And we can see that there is a 1, 2, 3 strike long signal here at the gold, because a gold signal requires at least 2 of the indicators had a simultaneous entry signal. So we know 1, 2, 3 strike had one there. Maybe I can show divergence cloud. Okay. And so volatility crusher, once I've shown that, did not have a long here. So we had a long signal on divergence cloud and 1, 2, 3 strike on the same bar. The divergence cloud signal is just hidden by the gold signal here. So with this indicator, you actually get all 3 indicators in one. So our power bundle indicators, 1, 2, 3 strike, divergence cloud, volatility crusher, they're all contained within this tool. So up here in the settings, we have our super signals. We can click to show or hide them, show their colors or change their colors. We can set our optimization settings, so how many bars we want to look back to auto optimize. We can set up automatic re-optimization, so the indicator will automatically re-optimize every 30 bars. And this is very useful if you're running something like a scan or a watch list so that it keeps up to date with your chart. So every 5 bars, maybe the scan will re-optimize or the watch list will re-optimize. So you're getting the best new signals. And down here, we have the optimization settings for the 3 individual indicators. So optimize on load, that means that when the indicator is applied, it's going to optimize immediately on load. And if you're using, and here are the optimization modes, and if you're using the indicators we'll see in a second in scans, and you want the super signals to be auto-optimized, then you need to have this on, and you need to have this on. So configure for use in scanner, and optimize on load set to yes for all the indicators you want to auto-optimize. So then just like the individual indicators, we then have all the parameters if you want to manually change them for all 3 indicators. So the 1, 2, 3 strike parameters, 1, 2, 3 strike styling, and the same for divergence cloud and volatility crusher. All of their settings are in here. But the next cool thing is we have the super signals.
Nicholas, just give me 1 second. Maybe I'm just going to interrupt for 1 second since it fits very nicely with that topic.
Yeah, sure.
So as you can see, if you open up the full settings, maybe for 1 second, what you can see is you basically get an all-in-one indicator. So this panel, or the super signals premium indicator, combines all 3 indicators in like one indicator, so you don't have to apply them individually on the chart and configure them. You have like one panel to do so, and you get the super signals. So that's it's very handy to do this. You can easily show and hide indicators right directly from the quick settings, and you can customize the different optimizations kind of optimization modes for all three indicators. And since it fits nicely, and I get these questions a lot from users, which optimization mode should I use? Well, because we have three modes. You have simplified, which is the fastest, but only tests a couple of hundred of combinations. We have standard, which tests around 700, 800 combinations. And we have exhaustive, more than thousands of combinations. Well, first of all, there's a speed factor. If you have exhaustive on for all three indicators, it will take quite some time for the optimization to complete. If you're flipping through charts, and every time it needs to re-optimize, this can be quite long, and you have to wait quite a bit. So when I'm trying to look at different symbols or different time frames, I like to have simplified switched on because it's just faster. All right, so that's the speed factor, but exhaustive tends to be more selective and give you the better signals, because it finds like the best permanent combination. But there's also a small tiny drawback to this, because if you are in exhaustive mode, signals tend to be more rare. And users have asked me, "Hey Daniel, I don't see many signals of this indicator." Well, the reason is you probably used exhaustive mode. And if you do, it's more selective. It's more careful in finding a signal. The stars align not as often anymore, and signals are rarer. So this could be the reason for this. So keep this in mind when you're using different optimization modes. All right, Nicholas, that was my 50 cents on this topic. Please continue.
Thanks, Daniel. So here I've actually optimized them all with exhaustive, and there's still a lot of bronze signals. I believe they're all on exhaustive. Yes, but the actual gold and silver signals tend to be a lot rarer when you use exhaustive, because the indicators become more selective usually. So the next cool thing, Daniel mentioned gold and silver and bronze and platinum signals, but you can actually make your own custom signals. So I'll show you how that's done. So if we minimize this panel here, we just hop into the settings and click custom logic. And now what we're basically able to do is define the conditions between all three indicators. How do they, I guess the word would be confluence, or how do they go along at the moment to trigger your signal? So let's create a custom long signal. So we go to custom long signal logic, and you can click these drop downs here to say what each of the indicators needs to do for your signal to be triggered. So we have options. We can say, I want 1, 2, 3 strike to be currently long, currently short, flat, not those things. Or maybe we want a long signal on 1, 2, 3, or a short signal. So for my custom long logic, I'm going to say, I want 1, 2, 3 strike to be long. I want divergence cloud to be long. And let's say I want a volatility crusher entry signal to come in. And I'll do the same thing, maybe the opposite. Currently short, and I want volatility crusher to do a short entry signal for my custom short signal. Now, when I click update and we look at the chart, actually, if we look down the panel, we see right there, custom long, the fourth signal at 142, 175 bars from the start. So that was this signal right here. And if we remember our logic, it required that divergence cloud is currently long. So if I turn on divergence cloud, we see it was currently long. 1, 2, 3 strike is currently long. In this case, 1, 2, 3 strike was long from back here. And then finally, volatility crusher had to come in and trigger its long entry for us to get that super signal. So these are very handy, and there's a chance that you find some super signals that work even better than the original super signals, depending on the chart and setup. But you can make these custom signals, and you can also scan for them. And that's the next thing I'm going to jump into. So these super signals are good. And the best thing about them is that you can scan easily and see when they're happening. So I'm going to create a new scan here, and I'll call this super signals. Oh, and I'll go a little slower here. In MotiveWave, you come down here and you click this plus button, then you can open a scan window. So I'll call this my super signals scan. Double click, and up here and choose scan, we click new scan. We're going to name it super signals. Our gold long super signals. And the type, we need to click study. So just like study alerts, we click study. And then you select which instruments you want to scan over. I'm just going to take the prefabs here, NASDAQ and NYSE, 51 symbols. And I'm going to scan on the daily chart. You can scan any time frame you would like. So the interval bar size, 1 day. And now in here, oops, we add our study, and that's Super Signals AO Premium or Super Signals AO. And if you remember, we were speaking before in the optimization settings. Now that we're using it in the scanner, or if you use it in a watch list, anywhere that's not a chart, basically, you need to click Configure for Use in Scanner, or it won't work. So Configure for Use in Scanner is set to yes. And the indicators are optimizing over a bar look back of 1,000 bars. So when I click Add, I need to change this value up here, minimum bars, to 1,000, because I could leave it at 250, but I want the indicators to optimize over 1,000. 250 bars isn't much, so I'm going to increase that. And next brings us to our study conditions. So what are we looking for, right? Super Signals AO, am I looking for a bronze long? No, in our case, we wanted to hunt for gold longs. So I'll click here in this drop down, gold long. And by the way, you still have access to all of the plots from the individual indicators in here as well. So I'll click gold long. And when the gold long is greater than 0, so there was a signal, then show me that on my scan. And I'm going to look for symbols that had a gold long in the last 10 bars. Look back bars. So if this was set to 1, it would only look back 1 bar. If there's no gold signal, it's disqualified. With 10 look back bars, it's checking the most recent 10 bars to see if they had a gold long. So I'll click finish and start. We'll run the scan. And what's happening now is it's not just looking for super signals, it's auto-optimizing all the indicators and then looking for signals. So the signals you're getting are auto-optimized signals. They're as good as can be, basically. So here we got some long signals on the 4 daily chart. We had a gold signal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bars ago. Okay. On Microsoft, we see we also had a gold signal right here on PHM. And here, this is actually a pretty nice gold signal. We had a pretty nice one back there. Who knows if it'll pan out. And just for fun, I want to see if we even get any hits. I'm going to change the study to look for a platinum long signal. So let's see, were there even any platinums? There's only 51 symbols. So chances are no. These signals are very rare, at least on the daily chart. I would be surprised if we found one. And there were no platinum long signals, so that's not terribly surprising.
Great. And just to add on to this, if you don't get a signal and you're wondering, oh, is my scan even working? Is it not working? There's one thing you can do to increase your chances that something will be picked up is to increase the look back period within which the signal must occur. So look back bars on the criteria, change them to a bigger value like 70, 100, whatever. This will increase the chances because it will look further back for an historical signal of that quality. All right, perfect. And one more thing, which I think most of you may not have realized yet, what the scan actually does. Because typically when you run a scan, and you scan for some condition across, I don't know, multiple symbols, and using the same setting for every symbol. You know, if you're looking for like an MA crossover, you always would look typically for, you know, MA5 crosses above MA25, or SMA5 crosses above SMA25, the same settings. But what we do here actually, we are using the optimized settings on a per symbol basis. So for every symbol, the scanner will use the optimized settings of our super signals to find an entry. And I have not seen a system which can do this outside our indicators. And I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but it's something which has not attempted before. And I believe this really brings scanning to another level.
Definitely, it's an optimizer built into a scanner. So the signal we got here, we see it already had these high efficiency or high win rate statistics across all 3 indicators because it optimized to find them before giving you this signal.
Yeah, exactly. All right, great. Homer, are there any questions since Nicholas is...
Yeah, we have actually a bunch of questions, so I'm really glad you asked.
Nicola, can you go back to the chart,
yeah.
please? Yeah, okay, perfect.
So Terry wanted to know if you could show Apple and Tesla. I think you already did show Apple, so maybe Tesla?
I think you showed Tesla, but didn't show Apple. Yeah, it was vice versa.
Is it the other way
around?
around?
Specific time frame, Homa?
No, there's no specific time frame.
Okay, so I'll apply it here on the daily and then jump around maybe. So
I
here I've
swear
done
I saw, maybe I saw you showing it on one of your screenshots, Daniel.
Possibly.
on the daily chart here, we see we had a little bronze long signal back here, and I'm optimizing with the simplified mode. I'll get a little bit more selective, and then I'm going to jump over to maybe the hourly chart or the 15-minute, see what that looks like. So optimizing actually didn't make much difference or changing the optimization mode. So simple actually managed to find a great signal or a great setup. So yeah, we see here the signals, the bronze signals. This one did well. The silver had some follow through. Bronze here didn't work out. This one had a lot of follow through, this short, this long. And you see the signals are generally very good.
Yeah.
They're generally forecasting a trend.
Exactly. And on that topic, I saw a user in the chat asking, what's the predictive power of these super signals? Well, just if anything, I do believe there's predictive power, of course, otherwise you wouldn't do it. But it doesn't always work out. There are no guarantees in life. There are no guarantees in trading. But trading is a numbers game. So, you would never risk all your money on a single trade. Even though chances are high that it will work out, there's also a chance that it will not. So you would never put all your eggs in one basket. That's a foolish move. You would diversify, you would risk a smaller amount and then play the numbers game. And this is what trading is all about. If you continue making informed decisions using smart tools, using your own discretion, using whatever you can do to stack the odds in your favors, the numbers game will be in your favor as well. So this is important.
Nicola,
yeah.
Terry wants to know if you can also show ES.
Sure.
Yes, those are the E-minis S&P.
Mm-hmm.
On any specific time frame? No.
1 or 5 minutes.
Okay. So we'll hop over to the.
And he also wants to know what the stats are on back testing and if it's best for swing or day trading.
So here it is on ES 5 minutes. The signals here at least look pretty decent. Good short, short, long, long. Two nice shorts here. This gold really had follow through. Generally, it'll work on any chart. So any specific chart. And remember, the optimization is always changing. So how good it looks or how it optimizes one day on the 5 minutes is not going to look the same on the other day because the bars change and the best settings for those conditions change. Whether it's better for day trading or swing trading, Daniel, I wouldn't say that it's necessarily better to use it for one or the other. It's going to work for both. It works on all time frames, and it automatically optimizes to your time frame and your chart. So you don't need to worry about which symbol necessarily.
Yeah. And one thing I'd like to point out is, so with the super signals, you will get entries. You may wonder why Daniel talked about exits so much previously. Where are my exits? Well, this is where the underlying indicators come in. And as you could see, Nicola just switched them on. So we have our entries, but then you can use the exit suggestions of the underlying indicator to time your exits. As you can see, this works out quite nicely. You get the small little arrows in the opposite direction, which are exit signals. Now our indicator, you get take profit levels if you use volatility crusher, you get stop loss levels if you use volatility crusher. So these can act as your exit suggestions to manage your trade.
Definitely. Like these would be the long exit suggestions for this bronze long. These would be the exits for this. And similarly on the short side.
Exactly. All right.
Wilfred wants to know if you would use super signals with super trend. Could you? And does it make sense?
It would definitely make a good stop loss case. What do you think, Daniel?
Possibly. I mean, they're different indicators. Of course, just the name is a bit similar. Super signal, super trend, but fundamentally quite different. But in general, I think it makes sense to combine indicators. I wouldn't overdo it. It would clutter your chart. But Nicholas, maybe just add super trend to it, see what it does. Quick. So we're going to use this is the classic super trend. Yeah. Let's have a look. So yeah, you can see here the
we just hide
classic super trend line. Yeah,
nice
act as a good
here.
Act as a good stop loss. Absolutely. Yeah, look at these lines. So if it helps, it will give you a nice trailing stop to your trade. So yeah, good idea. In addition to the classic super trend, you can also try out our super trend bullseye, which is an auto-optimizing version of Supertrend. Just putting it on here. And let's see, I think it only starts drawing for recent price action, but similarly, you can use it very nicely as a trading stop. And perhaps even look for one more level of Confluence. This, of course, would need to be on a discretionary basis, on a manual basis. You can see if Supertrend, Bullseye, and our super signals line up. Why not?
Definitely.
Yeah, so you have some really, actually, coincidentally, we had a Supertrend short signal and another entry signal almost at the same bar. So definitely some Confluence there too. Any other questions, Soma? Oh.
Yeah, Matthias wants to know if it's possible to get alerts based on super signals.
Yes. So you can come up here, click Create Alert with this little clock icon in MotiveWave. And then for your condition and parameters, you would come down to right here. You could see your super signals once the indicator is applied. And you want to make sure right here that you set, let's say I want to look for platinum longs or get an alert when there's a platinum long. You want to make sure that this says crosses above the minimum tick of the instrument. So your platinum long crosses above, in this case, 0.25. On stocks, it's usually 0.01. And you can click trigger multiple so that it'll keep triggering perpetually. And then you can say, how do I want to be notified? So do I want an alert, a sound, send me an email? I believe you can set up texts as well. Do I want to take an automated trade based on the alert? And you also have the signals built into the indicator. So what I can do is come up into these settings up here in the signals tab. And then I can click enable, not all, and come in here and select whichever one I want. So I can select a bronze, a silver, or I can just have them all and click update. And then whenever one of these signals happens, I'm going to get a little ping and the alert window will open up on MotiveWave.
Yeah, just a quick additional information on this one. I mentioned previously that study alerts, this would be a study alert, is only available with the MotiveWave Pro version and higher. So you will only get this if you have MotiveWave Pro or higher. Signals, this is what Nicholas has shown in the end, they are available with every MotiveWave version. So if you go to signals, these are available always. They're a bit more restrictive than alerts, because with alerts, for example, what you can do, you can set up an automatic trade, which should be entered when an alert occurs. So you can almost define your automated trading system based on this. This is not possible with signals, but with alerts, that would be possible. Any other questions?
So Frank wanted to know about stacked indicators.
Oh, this is indicator on indicator. We're going to do this at the very end.
Okay. Okay, let's see. We do have some other questions. Terry would like to know if it repaints and is it shown on the same bar?
It shows at the close of the bar. So there's no repainting. Obviously, if you re-optimize with different settings, it's going to change what shows up on the chart. But the indicator doesn't repaint. So once the signal is there, it's final. And that's actually why we wait until the close of the bar. So this bronze signal, you wouldn't have known that that's a bronze signal until this bar had finished closing. Or this bronze signal, you wouldn't know, because we do not want to print a signal intra-bar and then conditions change and then it's no longer valid at the end of the bar. That's literally the definition of repainting, is you show something, the indicator shows, just to minimize this so things are a little easier to see. So this bronze signal, you would not know it's a bronze signal until this bar completed, because we don't want to repaint. If you show a signal intra-bar and then take it away, that is what repainting is. It's changing what the indicator did historically. So it looks different in real time than it does when you first apply it. We don't do that with any of our indicators.
Okay, great. Thanks. So Matthias wants to know, is it possible to scan for all different signals at the same time in one scan? So bronze, silver, gold, platinum.
Is that possible?
I think it's possible with an OR condition in the scan. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We can just add bronze, silver, scan for all of them at once, and then they would pop up.
Yeah. What you need to do is eval method. If you see eval method there,
yep,
you just set it to any. So, oh, sorry, one or more. Yeah, and then it will basically use an OR condition for all these different signals, and will show up in the scan when any of them becomes true. And I saw another question while this is running. Can this be ran in replay mode? So the answer again here is yes, absolutely. You can use the signals in replay mode and use them to practice trading or just to see how they unfold and when they are printed.
And here, Daniel, I'm just showing that I scanned for platinum and silver. So we see we're getting these results for the silver ones that popped up. So this silver signal here, 27 bars ago.
Perfect. Great.
I have a couple questions here about updates to indicators, Daniel. So I know users are supposed to get an email when there's an update to an indicator.
Yes, that's right. So what we do is whenever there's an update available, I will upload them to our checkout system, and every user who has purchased the indicator should be getting a notification with a custom message from me where I typically say, okay, what has changed? What is this update all about? How crucial is it? But of course, if you have not gotten an update, I can simply also email us and find out, or alternatively, you can check your Gumroad account. Gumroad is our payment processor currently, and you can simply log in with your credentials. And there's a menu item on the left-hand side in Gumroad called Library, which will show all the indicators that you own in their latest version. There's always a version number attached there too.
So so if you haven't gotten anything from us, if you think it's an email problem, or if you wanted to get in touch with us, just let us know at info@tradingindicators.com.
Okie dokie. So we have just finished our demo of the super signals and how they look like in MotiveWave. We covered topics such as how can I scan for signals? How can I set up alerts? How can I customize my signals and fine tune them? How can I optimize them? Well, there's one more thing which I'd like to share with you, which is how can you get hold of our super signals? All right, so we have bundled up our Super Signals Premium package, which will contain all of our Power Bundle indicators with auto optimization. So you're going to get 1 to 3 strike. 1 to 3 strike. You're going to get Divergence Cloud. You're going to get Volatility Crusher with auto optimization, with all the statistics. You will also get the Power Panel, which you've seen, where you can see the individual statistics for each indicator. You can see the history of the signals directly on the chart. And of course, you'll get your super signals with the ability to define your custom signals. And all these have been bundled up with the statistics, which come with all our indicators, and auto optimization into what we call the Super Signals Premium package. And currently available for lifetime at $1,497. We are moving towards a subscription model. I know if you're following us for a longer time, I keep saying this, but trust me, it is in the working, and soon this lifetime access will disappear and will only offer a subscription model for our indicators. But for a limited time, you can still get lifetime access. And once you have lifetime, you're locked in. No further payments are required ever for these indicators. They're yours forever to keep. Okay, so this is for our premium package. If you want to take advantage of it, simply go to tradingindicators.com/super. So tradingindicators.com/super, super for like super signals. Okay, so if you think, oh, wow, that's a high price tag, and I agree it is high, but I believe there's so much value in it because, as I said, the scanning feature alone, scanning for optimized signals, is something that you will not see anywhere else. But if you think this is a high price tag, and I agree it is, perhaps you want to go with the Super Signals standalone version. Now, Super Signals standalone will give you the Power Panel, and it will give you the super signals, so platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and the custom super signals that you can define. But that said, you will not get the underlying indicators. You will not get 1 to 3 strike. You will not get Divergence Cloud. You will not get Volatility Crusher. But their logic internally will be used to create the super signals or the custom signals. But you cannot, enable them or disable them on the chart on the fly. That's the limitation. I personally find the individual indicators very valuable when it comes to timing your exit. We've seen this, we've demoed this briefly on the chart, but perhaps if you have your own exit mechanism or you don't need them, you can go for the standalone version. Still available at lifetime for $7.97. Again, that's for a limited time. It will go away, but currently you can still lock in the lifetime access. And if you are interested in this package, simply go to tradingindicators.com/signals. All right. So basically, this will give you the compact panel, the signals, and you get auto optimization, but you will not get the individual indicators. So basically, what I mean by compact panel, it will look like this. You just get this, the compact panel with the history of which signals have occurred recently, but you don't see what the individual underlying indicators are doing. All right. So quick reminder, so the standalone version, tradingindicators.com/signals. If you want to go for the premium package, we get everything that we have, tradingindicators.com/super. And both packages are still available for lifetime access. All right. Homer, are there any questions? Oh, actually, I'm going to answer one more question, which I know for a fact it will come up. What if you already have the power bundle indicators? I know many of you, I recognize the name, so welcome back and thank you for joining. I know you already own our power bundle indicators from MotiveWave. As an owner of these, there will be upgrade options. Simply reach out to us. Send me an email or send Homer an email at info@tradingindicators.com, and I will explain to you what your upgrade options are. So we'll take care of you. All right. Any other questions?
Yes, Santiago wants to know if there'll be a future video or possibly a tech talk on how to automate with a strategy builder.
Yeah, we're planning on that. Absolutely. So there's only so much we can cover in our tech talks. And I do want to keep them more compact than they used to be. I remember we used to, push them to almost 2 hours. So I think that was too long. So instead, we're going to split them up. We make them more focused. So the focus on this one was on the super signals themselves. Future tech talk will be on the topic of, how you can use them with our strategy builder. Absolutely.
Darius wants to know, are there any best practices on how often to optimize?
Yeah. So first of all, you should only optimize when you really have new information available. So let's say optimize in the beginning of the day, you're on a 1-minute chart. I don't think it makes sense to re-optimize after 10 minutes. You only have 10 additional bars. All the chances are there will not be a single trade during these 10 minutes, sorry. So things will not change or change very little only. So I like to re-optimize personally every 100 to 200 bars. That's a personal preference. I think this is just the right rhythm to have. Luckily, with our indicators, with the super signals can be instructed to re-optimize after a certain interval. For example, you can tell the super signals, okay, re-optimize after every 100 bars or every 200 bars. That's the setting which is built, and I think Nicola brushed quickly on it. It's very obvious or prominent in the settings. So you can re-optimize every 100, 200, whatever, many bars. Any other questions?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. I have a question here from Thomas. I'm trying to understand it better. So the first part of the question is his understanding of the divergence cloud. Was it that it looked at the difference between long and short, but this delta doesn't exist for FX?
I think, Thomas, we take this offline. The focus here was on the super signals, and actually that's not how Divergence Cloud works. It looks for discrepancies between price move and volatility, and that's just how it is. So it will definitely work for FX.
Okay, perfect. And I think that's it. Yep. That's it. There's a couple of users that have asked about the presentation because they missed some of it, and it'll be available on our YouTube channel, and we will be sending out a link to the recording in a few days.
Exactly. And if we couldn't cover your particular question, please reach out to us. Just send us a contact request through our homepage, tradingindicators.com. There's a contact field which you can very easily find. Just write the question there, and we'll do our very best to get back to you as soon as possible and to answer also your questions. And having this said, once again, thank you so much for all the feedback that we have been receiving. Most of our product improvements, they're driven solely by your feedback. So I love getting feedback from users because they tell us, first of all, what is working, what is appreciated, what perhaps is not working as well, and help us focus on things that are working. And it gives us lots of inspiration of what to add next to our indicators. They're all live products. They never stop being advanced and enhanced. And we listen to user feedback for this. So thank you so much for that. And if you have any feedback, contact us, contact me at tradingindicators.com/contact. And if
just to clarify, I think some people were asking about the difference between I'm just looking through this right now. Yes, we have a couple of users. Could you re-explain the difference between the two packages, please?
Yeah, exactly. So with the premium package, you will get every underlying indicator. So you get 1 to 3 strike, divergence, and volatility crusher. So you can either use these standalone, applied to the chart, use them for your own purpose. You can use them in strategy building. You can use them for signal scanning and so forth. You will also get the compact power panel, but also the advanced power panel, which will show you what the individual indicators are doing when it comes to the super signals to give you further insight. You can also apply them easily to a chart to time your exits. Basically, you get everything we have surrounding the super signals. Okay. Now,
and just the clarification for this is that you do get the 3 indicators individually as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
For the standalone version, here you will get only, in quotes, the super signals and a compact version of the power panel. You will get auto optimization, but you will not get the individual indicators. You will not get 1 to 3 strike individually. You will not get divergence curve individually, and you will not get volatility crusher individually. And you will also not get the premium panel, which you can expand to see what the individual indicators are doing, and you will not be able to scan for individual indicator signals. So I hope this clarifies it. If there's still questions afterwards, just email us and we'll explain it again in writing. Okay. Anything else?
No, I think that's good. If there are any questions we missed, we actually had a lot of questions tonight, which is great. Just make sure you email us at info@tradingindicators.com and we'll get back to you.
Great. So thank you so much, everyone. I know your time is precious, so I cannot thank you enough for joining me tonight, for spending your time, your evening or your morning with me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for being there. And I look forward for the next Tech Talk in 2 weeks. Thank you. Good night.